I seduced a married man. I schemed relentlessly to coax him into divorcing his wife and marrying me instead. Everyone called me shameless for breaking up a marriage. Only his wife secretly rejoiced, because she was the one who'd paid me to do it. After the deed was done, she confronted me in outrage. I only hired you to break us up, not to marry him yourself. Why would you walk straight into hell? Sean Chen's wife Olivia Zhao, now ex-wife now, pushed a stack of cash toward me, her face masked, her voice turned hysterical. Why did you actually marry him? He's a monster, a devil. Don't you understand? You were supposed to break up with him and leave the city afterward. Why get legally married? I watched her reddening, agitated eyes and replied calmly, because I fell for him. Proximity bred affection. Now, he's my husband. Since you're divorced, this man belongs to me. Her eyes bulged in disbelief as she ripped off her mask and hat. The left side of her face was swollen crimson, a split lip still oozing blood. A patch of missing scalp revealed raw flesh beneath. She jabbed at her injuries furiously. This was from the night before the divorce. He beat me, warned me to keep my mouth shut forever, said he'd come after me even divorced if I talked. With that, she suddenly broke into a deranged laugh. This is the last time I'll ever be beaten. Ha ha ha. You knew all along. I came to you for help to escape him completely. Why did you marry him? As if this weren't enough, Olivia Zhao even stripped off her clothes before my eyes. Her back was a canvas of bruises, not a single patch unmarked, while a festering burn marred her chest. Fresh injuries layered over old scars. She'd shown me these during our first meeting, but now countless new wounds had joined them. I averted my gaze and spoke firmly. Enough, Olivia. Since the divorce, keep your distance. Don't badmouth my husband, and stay out of our lives. Why does he only hit you and no one else? In these 6 months we've been together, he's never laid a hand on me. Don't ever show your face again to sow discord between us. Her composure shattered. She viciously redressed and stormed off in fury. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. You'll regret this. Mark my words. I watched her angry retreating figure. Good. This was exactly how a proper wife should treat the other woman. Go far away, Olivia Zhao. Don't ever come back. I pulled the crimson booklet from my bag. This moment, I'd waited far too long for it. Sean Chen, we're finally legal now. Regret? Impossible. Years of preparation led here. From engineering my first encounter with Sean Chen to making him divorce for me, Olivia Zhao never knew my private agency was established solely for her sake. I've only ever had one goal, to marry Sean Chen. The wounds on Olivia Zhao's body were hard to look at, but 7 years ago, I'd seen far more gruesome ones. That girl's condition could only be described as hellish, horrifying, didn't even begin to cover it. Her internal organs were shattered, blood gushing from her mouth in great torrents. The surgery saved her life, but a section of necrotic intestine was removed, leaving a scar like a grotesque centipede across her abdomen. Not a single patch of unmarked skin remained. The skin on her arm had been burned off when that bastard tested whether hyperproof liquor could ignite. The scar tissue never matched her natural skin tone, and the wounds kept aching until her dying day. When she passed, Sean Chen was still in prison, though the doctors saved her. The internal damage was too severe. She only survived 3 more years. At her funeral, Sean Chen's family sent a massive wreath inscribed with congratulations. The life she clawed back from Sean Chen's hands only bought him a 9-year sentence after her hardest fight. They were married. That's why he didn't beat her to death on the spot. Sean Chen served just 6 years. He was released the year before last. His first act after freedom? Kicking that girl's gravestone repeatedly. That bitch actually died first. Ha ha ha. I told you I wouldn't let you off when I got out. Making me rot in prison. You deserved it. The second thing was getting remarried to Olivia Zhao through a family arrangement. Olivia once told me that Sean Chen had changed his name. After all these years, who even remembered what he'd done? Besides, the cameras only focused on the victims. Who'd bother learning about the abuser? The Chen family deliberately covered it up. They were well off. So Olivia's family had no idea they were marrying her off to a wolf in sheep's clothing. The beatings started soon after the wedding. First slaps, then chairs, tables, the blunt edge of knives. She begged her in-laws for help, but they took Sean's side. When he found out she'd complained, the beatings got worse. What kind of decency could you expect from parents with that kind of DNA? When she tried calling her parents, Sean gripped her throat. Go ahead, call them. I'll beat them too. That college-going sister of yours, your little sister-in-law, even visited us this summer. Olivia said the true despair came when she called the police. The officer who showed up turned out to be Sean's childhood best friend. Everyone pushed for reconciliation, not separation, like always with domestic cases, where mediation came first. Right after that police visit, Sean knocked out 2 of Olivia's teeth and broke her leg, saying she'd shamed him. Later, he claimed she'd fallen down the stairs. Why didn't she run away? But even when she fled to another city, Sean Chin somehow always knew where to find her. After each retrieval came an intensified living hell. As long as you're my wife, Sean Chin would say, don't even dream of slipping through my fingers. Fortunately, she was smarter than that other girl I'd met. She found me. My agency specializes in handling messy breakups and divorces. Though I'd successfully sweet-talked Sean Chen into a whirlwind marriage certificate, his parents refused to accept me, calling me no good trash, never once mentioning Sean's infidelity. Old Mr. Chen looked down his nose like I was gutter scum, while Mrs. Chen rolled her eyes and made thinly veiled insults. Your taste keeps sinking lower, they sneered. We vetted Olivia Zhao for you. Good family, proper upbringing. For over a year, everyone admired your perfect marriage. And you divorce her for this fox spirit? I smirked inwardly. Of course they'd chosen Olivia, someone with no powerful relatives to retaliate when their son showed his true colors. They knew exactly what kind of monster they'd raised. When Olivia came begging for help, the Chens merely reminded Sean, mind where you leave marks. Visible bruises are unseemly. Those sanctimonious old vultures weren't bystanders. They were accomplices. Sean bragged about being their only son. Even if I stab the sky, my parents will patch it up for me. His parents were indeed like that. Even while standing in court that year, they were still sending threatening messages to the plaintiff victim. If you don't sign the legal waiver, we won't let you off. We'll kill your whole family, ruin your lives. Threats like that. Watching the hypocritical Mr. and Mrs. Chen, I lowered my eyes meekly, playing the obedient role. Sean Chen quickly interjected, Mom, Dad, Nian Nian and I are truly in love. Please don't interfere. I visited her family. Her parents may be ordinary office workers, but she's their only daughter. She's exceptional, studied abroad, and has an open-minded worldview. They don't care that I've been married before. A calculating glint flashed in Mr. Chen's eyes, while Mrs. Chen didn't bother hiding her disdain, sniffing dismissively. She's passably pretty, at least presentable in public, but no wedding. Getting married without proper courtship? That's not open-minded, that's just shameless. I gazed at Sean with tender, wounded eyes. I know how this looks. I just love you too much. Maybe we should listen to your mom. Skip the wedding to avoid gossip. Sean's expression darkened. Who dares laugh at us? We'll throw the grandest wedding. Olivia's was rushed because never mind, because you arranged it. But Nian Nian's my first real marriage. She deserves this. Besides, she's already. Of course I needed that wedding to legitimize my place, to make sure everyone knew I was his wife now. At these words, both their expressions darkened. Even Mr. Chen, who usually looked down his nose at me, glanced at my abdomen. The very reason they'd rushed Sean Chen into marriage was his lack of an heir. Olivia Zhao had told me how Sean beat her during early pregnancy, leaving the bedsheets soaked in blood before she realized she'd miscarried. Mrs. Chen eyed my waistline sidelong. Best hurry with the wedding before the belly shows, she muttered, clenching my fists. I sneered inwardly. Did the Chun family's wretched DNA even deserve continuation? The second month into our marriage, Sean's palm connected with my cheek for the first time. My crime, leaving the top button of my blouse undone. Dressed like that, who are you trying to seduce? he snarled, eyes bulging. The apology came swift as the strike. Sorry, babe. I just worry someone might steal you. You're too damn beautiful. I recognized the gambit, testing my tolerance thresholds, escalating incrementally. Every ex-wife had endured the same gradual descent, a predator's probing strike. But he never guessed my complicity. That first slap would also be his last. Were it not for my designs, he'd never have landed even one. My in-laws observed my reddened cheek with approving eyes, their surveillance noticeably relaxed. Oh, they were shrewd, moving in to monitor me, especially the old man with his amateur sleuthing, as if I hadn't noticed. I've spent over 6 years preparing to enter this family. The parents they're meeting now are actors I pay to play the part, flawless in every detail. Even this face of mine, I spent 2 years in Korea perfecting it, meticulously crafted to be exactly the kind of beauty Shanshin would adore, yet utterly unrecognizable from before. That slap gave me the perfect excuse to storm off to my own place. Feigning outrage, Shanshin came chasing after, and we agreed this would be our home after the wedding. This house, grander than Sean's, is my carefully engineered labyrinth, every corner rigged with purpose, ready to play a little game called domestic violence. Shanshin, the second time Shanshin tried to strike me was our wedding night at his place. Tipsy and restless, he needed an outlet, accused me of eyeing the handsome wedding host too long. Except this time, the slap never landed. I caught his wrist mid-swing, a sharp crack. His scream followed as the limb went limp. From the moment I decided to marry him, every day, not spent under the surgeon's knife, was devoted to martial arts and hand-to-hand combat. By graduation, even 2 6'3" trainers couldn't best me. Sean Chen's drunken haze lifted considerably, clearly unprepared for my retaliation. His eyes bulged as he began spewing curses, raising his other hand to grab my hair and slam me against the wall. I chopped down with my hand. Another crisp snap echoed as his second wrist gave way. Both wrists now hung limp, and reality finally dawned on him. He howled, "It hurts. It hurts. Get me to a hospital." This is nothing. After Olivia Zhao's leg was broken, he'd gone out drinking. She passed out from the pain and didn't wake until the next day, when his late ex-wife had begged him with her dying breath to call an ambulance. He'd leisurely gone out for cigarettes instead. I sat on the edge of the bed, calmly removing my makeup. "Darling, what did you say?" Sean Shin screamed for help, his broken hands dangling. "Natalie Fu, just you wait. How dare you fight back?" The murmur of lingering relatives in the living room was interrupted by knocks at the door. My mother-in-law's voice came through. "Sean, you've had too much tonight. Take care of yourself." Clearing my throat, I cried, "Darling, please, stop hitting me. It hurts. Help." My voice drowned out Sean's protests. Outside, mother-in-law only whispered, "Mine is face and stomach." Before silence fell again, Sean stood there, wrists limp, sweat beading on his forehead. At his mother's words, fear flickered across his face, gritting his teeth. He staggered to the door and threw his weight against it, until finally, his father-in-law was startled by the impact. With a child on the way, "You ought to behave." Sean Shin mustered all his strength. "Dad, it's me. Open up." The door finally relented. A few overnight relatives still lingered outside. I tousled my hair and steadied Sean with an arm around him. "Dad, I'm taking Sean to the hospital. He had too much to drink. Took a bad fall when I tried helping him to bed. Just a minor wrist injury. You all should rest." Sean caught the stares from his father and the gathered relatives. Pride kept him silent. My mother-in-law's gaze lingered on my disheveled hair. A knowing smirk curled her lips. They probably assumed I'd been beaten, too ashamed to admit it, en route to the hospital. I glanced at Sean slumped in the back seat. "Darling," I sighed, "you actually hit me again today." Well, I had to retaliate. "Bess, not raise your hands next time. Might hurt yourself by accident." I enunciated the last words deliberately. He groaned, cradling his wrist, eyes blazing with the promise of vengeance. The ER doctor diagnosed a simple dislocation. Naturally, I'd shown restraint. "We've only just begun," I murmured. "How dull if it ended so soon." Everything unfolded according to plan, until Olivia Zhao stormed into our home with a mob at her heels. Olivia brandished her phone like a weapon, every inch the righteous first wife amidst the crowd. She yanked my hair with apparent force, but only I knew it didn't hurt at all. Amid the crowd, she shrieked hysterically, "Homewrecker! Arrest her! Drag her away! That marriage-wrecking vixen!" Yet, beneath her loud cries, I detected the faintest tremor in her voice. Her acting was pitiful, especially before a seasoned performer like me. As my in-laws scolded, Sean Chen lunged to slap her again, then remembered his hand was still bound in a splint. He glared at Olivia Zhao. "Think I won't hit you just because we're divorced, you bitch? I'll kick you dead for daring to make a scene here." He swung a vicious kick, making Olivia flinch backward. She'd forgotten she'd brought back up. Seizing the chaos, I stealthily stuck out my foot to trip Sean. He crashed to the floor, jolting his injured hand with a pained grimace. While his parents rushed to help him, Olivia declared loudly, "I came today to make this homewrecker pay. She destroyed my marriage. Take her away." Her lackeys pulled at me as I thrashed against them. "My husband and I share true love. Stop this. You're divorced already. Let's talk properly. Don't be angry, darling. I'll handle it." I played along with her act, ice flooding my veins. Couldn't she see the murderous glint in Mr. Chen and Sean Chen's eyes? "Why come back? You'd already cut ties." I soothed Sean Chen and my in-laws, who watched my removal with barely concealed glee. In solitude, I raised my fist and drove it into the wall. Before me, Olivia Zhao deflated like a punctured balloon, hands trembling faintly, reining in my temper. I hissed, "What's your game? After the divorce, you swore off the Chen family. Why slither back now? Bold move hiring thugs. Where was the spine when he beat you? Why not pay someone to break his ribs then?" Hearing my own venom, I softened my tone. "You think this farce convinces anyone?" Ex-wife storms in, beats the other woman, drags her off for revenge. Olivia finally broke into shuddering sobs. "It's my fault you ever met Sean Chen. You pulled me from that hellhole I couldn't watch you dive back in. When you changed your number, this was the only way I could think to reach you. I paid those men to extract you. Just run. Don't go back. You think I never considered hiring muscle? Even if I'd had him beaten bloody, he'd never grant the divorce. Only his signature freed me. That's why I came to you. God, I never thought you'd be this blind. Had I known, I'd have." I pulled her into an embrace, stilling her trembling sobs. I whispered a few words into her ear. Her crying ceased abruptly, eyes widening slightly. This was my secret, one I'd never have shared with anyone connected to Sean Chen before. Who knew if they'd leak it under brutal torture? I thought Olivia Zhao had escaped her misery, vanishing far away to heal her wounds in peace. Yet she concocted this clumsy scheme to drive me away. At parting, Olivia forced a smile. "I'll listen to you. I'm leaving now. Take care of yourself." I still wanted to say, "Don't break the law. No killing. It's not worth it." I waved her off. "Kill? Waste my freedom on that scum? I don't do illegal things. Otherwise, why would I have schemed to marry him? Marriage is an umbrella shielding marital disputes." When I returned, Sean Chen and my in-laws were waiting. My mother-in-law's eyes burned with resentment. They'd clearly learned I'd injured Sean's hand. I hurriedly spoke. "Honey, are you okay? Should we get your hand checked again?" My mother-in-law launched her inquisition. "So, what if a man gets handsy after drinking? How dare you hit back?" I said flatly, "Sean, why did you tell your mother about our bedroom antics? It's so embarrassing. Next time you grope me recklessly, I won't fight back. It's mainly because of the early pregnancy. I swear it wasn't intentional. If you're upset, hit me back." I tightly gripped Sean Chen's injured wrist, mimicking his earlier apology as I playfully guided his hand toward myself. Father-in-law snapped at mother-in-law. "Enough. No more fighting between you two. She's pregnant." "Xiao Fu, when Olivia Zhao took you away earlier, they didn't hit you, did they? You're pregnant." As if suddenly remembering this, Sean's expression softened, his voice laced with concern as he asked me. Her divorce really gave her some nerve. Clearly, I haven't beaten her enough. The words cut off abruptly. I pretended not to hear. "No, She's just resentful, rightfully so, since we're the ones in the wrong. You made her leave empty-handed. After all, but she knew I was pregnant and didn't dare strike me. I talked her down. She probably realized further drama would be pointless. Sean's eyes rolled triumphantly. That's more like it. I knew she wouldn't dare. Father-in-law was far shrewder than Sean. His gaze turned inscrutable, and I quickly interjected, Dad, the Chen family has status to maintain. Since Sean and I fell in love outside his marriage, making Olivia leave penniless was harsh. She likely just wanted some compensation. Throw her a token amount. This won't happen again, especially given yours and mother-in-law's social standing. Sean Chen snarled as if to say, how dare she, but was silenced by his father's glare. The old man took out his phone, tapped a few times, and transferred 20,000 yuan to placate her. She promised it wouldn't happen again, and the matter was settled. Seeing the situation resolved, the father grew smug and lectured Sean. I've told you before, carrot and stick, that's the real strategy. You didn't give Olivia Zhao a single cent. Foolish. Women can always be bought off with pocket change. I sneered inwardly. The night before the divorce, he'd beaten her half to death. Did she need this petty cash? She'd shed a layer of skin just to crawl out of there on her knees. Sean Chen was disarmed by my apology, though mainly because both his hands were still too injured for violent outbursts. As agreed earlier, we moved into my spacious house after the wedding. That night, when Sean got up to use the bathroom, he saw a shadowy figure reflected in the mirror. Terrified, he scrambled back to bed, only to find the same silhouette, now looming on the ceiling, staring down at him with hollow eyes. He shook me awake, pointing frantically upward. There's someone there. I switched on the light and soothed him gently. Darling, there's no one. You must be seeing things. A chronic chauvinist, he doubled down. It's nothing. For 7 straight nights, Sean glimpsed the apparition, leaving him chronically sleep-deprived. Just a miniature 3D hologram projector I'd imported. Cutting-edge technology at play. By the 5th day, his right hand had mostly healed. Sleep-deprived, he swung his fist at me. The moment had come again. I caught his fist and began pounding his head, avoiding the face to prevent unsightly marks, then shifted to his back. When that proved unsatisfying, I unleashed kicks and punches. Enough pain to matter, not enough to kill. Sean Chen covered his head, alternating between resistance and curses. You bitch, how dare you hit me? I'll fucking end you. Mid-sentence, I pinned him to the floor. His cries soon turned to pleading. Wife, stop, please stop. Regaining my senses, I cradled his head and murmured comfort. Oh God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just hate being disturbed while sleeping. Were you raising your fist to hit me? He whimpered in pain, then seized a glass and hurled it at my head. I dodged effortlessly, picked up the glass, and cracked it over his skull. Like this, darling? When blood trickled to his lips, he fumbled for his phone in terror to call the police. I fetched the first aid kit and bandaged his head roughly, but the gash needed stitches. I threaded a fishing line through an embroidery needle and moved in. Sean Chen's pupils dilated at the sight of the needle. Then he passed out. Yet this was exactly how he treated his ex-wife, the one whose skull he cracked open, afraid she'd report him if they went to the hospital. He stitched her up himself with embroidery needles. The infected wound nearly killed her. She passed out from the pain as Sean Chen sewed her flesh with those crude stitches. While stitching, Sean Chen kept saying, "Don't worry, wife. I've seen it done in documentaries. This is definitely the right way." I stitched Sean Chen's wound myself. The pain woke him midway through, only for him to faint again. Pathetic. I took him to the hospital where doctors removed my stitches and treated him properly. When he came to, he called the police claiming I'd assaulted him, that I was the one committing domestic abuse. The officers just examined the medical report and sighed, settling for routine mediation. I'd measure my strikes carefully. Afterward, I provided immediate first aid and got him professional treatment. The doctor said, "Your wife clearly administered emergency care with concern. Her suturing technique wasn't bad. If not for unclean thread, we wouldn't have needed to redo the stitches." Sean Chen's eyes bulged as he stared between the mediating officer and the physician. I'm injured this badly, and you're not arresting her? I squeezed his arm. Husband, the officer said this is a domestic matter. Let's not waste their time. Besides, the doctor confirmed it's just superficial. You'll recover with rest. And didn't you punch me first? I only retaliated. This was just martial play between spouses. The police went through their routine lecture before leaving. After getting stitches and returning home, the first thing I did was beat Sean Chen again. I hit him while yelling, "Call the cops? Who told you to call the cops? Do I have no dignity left? Dare you try that again? What'll the cops even do? We're married. This is just how couples fight. Totally normal. Totally normal." Sean didn't even have time to react before curling under the table. Sound familiar? Those were his exact words in the security footage of him beating his ex-wife. Olivia Zhao had described it to me too. As for that surveillance tape, useless in court, just more proof it was only domestic abuse at home, though his punches had always landed far harder than mine ever could. Afterward, I bought him medicine and stuck bandages on his cuts, solidifying the narrative. Just a bad temper, just a little outburst. Sean didn't resist all evening, until midnight, when his hands locked around my throat. His eyes were murderous. I had no doubt he meant to kill. 2 beatings and he's already cracking. Pathetic. I flipped him, pinned his wrists, and straddled him, watching shock flood his expression, then slapped his face swollen as a pig's head. Why won't you obey? Huh? Wanted to strangle me? Still think you can hit me? Sean Chen finally began to beg for mercy. Honey, stop hitting me. It hurts. Please. I'm begging you. Stop. In a fit of rage, I'd beaten his face beyond recognition. I kept him from leaving, forcefully applying medicine to reduce the swelling, just as he had once imprisoned his ex-wife. Darling, I'm doing this for your own good. If you go out looking like this, people will laugh. I've called in sick leave for you. Rest at home for a few days, okay? But he wasn't about to take this lying down. He turned to his in-laws for help. When his parents arrived, they could hardly believe the swollen face before them belonged to Sean Chen. His mother lunged at me immediately, but I dodged, clutching my stomach. His father cleared his throat sharply, his gaze piercing. Sean Chen glared at me triumphantly and said to his parents, "She dared to hit me. Hold her down. I'm going to return the favor." Clutching my belly, I sobbed to his father, "I'm innocent. Dad, I didn't hit him. He was the one attacking me. I just tried to get away." He got so furious, smashing things, then tripped and fell. Now, he's blaming me. But if I hadn't run, what would have happened to my baby? This is the Chen family's first grandson. His mother replied coldly, "Who told you to dodge? A man works hard outside. It's only natural he relieves some stress at home." Your evasiveness made him fall. Ignoring Sean Chen's protests, I pressed on. "Mom, Dad, there's something else. I think Sean might be mentally unstable. Should we take him to the hospital? He keeps saying there are ghosts in the house at night. Staying avakitidon." My father-in-law maintained his usual authoritative demeanor, scrutinizing me with that judgmental gaze. My voice grew urgent. "Why don't you both come stay with us for a while? See Sean for yourselves. He claims the ghost looks like his ex-wife. But I'm confused. Isn't Olivia Zhao perfectly fine?" My in-laws exchanged glances, a silent understanding passing between them. Without another word, they moved in. Truth be told, they'd come with this very intention, to verify whether Sean had truly suffered abuse at my hands. By the second night, Sean wasn't the only one seeing ghosts. A spectral figure loomed starkly outside their bedroom window. My mother-in-law shrieked in terror, jolting Sean and me awake. By the time we rushed over, there was nothing there. Sean, who'd finally managed some decent sleep, snapped irritably at his mother. "Nothing's there. What's all the screaming for? You're just seeing things." "Mom." The ashen pallor of my father-in-law's face betrayed his own fright. In the days that followed, my in-laws kept glimpsing bloodied figures in bathroom mirrors, bedroom reflections, outside windows. Yet only they could see them, not me. I wasn't afraid in the slightest. Fear can't be faked. For an entire week, Shanshin was too preoccupied to continue his retaliatory beatings. The three of them huddled in the room, whispering, "Could it be that wretched woman who got our son imprisoned? Even in death, she brings no peace." The mother-in-law muttered, "The year she died, I paid someone to place a spirit-binding bell at her graveyard, just to prevent her ghost from haunting my son. Women, these days, make such a fuss over a few beatings. It's not like he killed her. She died from illness. Poor constitution." Father-in-law's voice turned grave. "Why would we see it at home, only for it to appear in Natalie Fu's apartment? Something's wrong." That night, they returned to the Chen residence, unaware that during their absence, I'd installed an even more terrifying hologram there. By the time they fled back to my place in panic, I'd already dismantled the setup. Sean called the police and hired investigators to sweep the Chen family home. They found nothing. Furious and terrified, he needed an outlet for his rage. This time, he grabbed a secretly stashed wooden rod and swung it at me with full force. "Think pregnancy makes you untouchable?" he snarled. "I'll avoid your belly. But so what if I hit it? If the brat dies, I can always knock you up again." I caught the rod midair effortlessly, then struck him back with equal ferocity. His screams distorted with each blow. I matched every strike with a cry of my own. When he lunged for the door to escape, he found it barricaded from outside. He shrieked for his parents' help, but my wails drowned out his pleas. Beyond the door, my in-laws remained deaf to the chaos. The blows fell heavy yet avoided vital areas, until Sean Chen finally crumpled to his knees, begging for mercy. My in-laws opened the door, only to recoil at the scene before them. Sleepless nights had already left them haggard, and now mother-in-law lunged at me with maternal fury. I sidestepped, sending her sprawling to the floor as she wailed about family disgrace. The pretense ended then. I'm protecting my child. An expectant mother has every right to fight back when attacked. When father-in-law raised his arm threateningly, I cracked my rod across his backside. Like father, like son, were your ears stuffed when you heard your precious boy getting thrashed? His face burned crimson with unprecedented humiliation. "Sean Chen, behold the hellcat you married." He pointed a trembling finger at me, nearly apoplectic. "Call the police." Sean shrieked, "Domestic abuse. I'll have you charged." Rolling my wrists, I countered, "Go ahead. How many reports did your ex-wife file? You're still standing, aren't you? At worst they'll mediate, maybe scold me. But since you struck first, I doubt they'll even detain me. This, just marital squabbles. Divorce. I want a divorce." At last, Sean Chen arrived at the inevitable. My face instantly darkened. "How could that be? I'm pregnant. I won't divorce you. Honey, don't be angry. As long as you don't hit me or provoke me, I promise I won't hit you again. I swear." I threw his own words back at him, shutting him up. He spat out a mouthful of bloody saliva in fury. "This is just the beginning." Sean Chen exchanged glances with my in-laws, who then conveniently used my pregnancy as an excuse to move in. Lately, they'd been behaving more normally, so I resumed the gentle demeanor from our dating days. Demons don't turn into docile lambs overnight. By the time my belly swelled at 5 months, Sean Chen invited his buddies over for drinks, coincidentally on a day my in-laws were out. Returning home to find them carousing, I quickly retreated to the bedroom. Soon enough, Sean Chen came knocking with his entourage. "You always beat me alone," he sneered. "Let's see you take on so many. Today, I'll teach you that husbands rule supreme. How dare a woman raise her hand against a man? This perversion ends now." He thought he was delivering a brutal lesson, but instead of the expected terror, his men began collapsing into unconsciousness one by one. His laughter died mid-chuckle. Naturally, I obliged him with another thorough beating. This time, I made it clear. Don't even dream of escaping my grasp. He had no idea why I let them stay here. The 24-hour surveillance covered every corner. I knew the moment he brought them through the door. I knew he loved drinking with his worthless friends, so I'd laced every bottle in the liquor cabinet with sleep aids. A little wouldn't hurt, but too much would knock them out faster than hogs. Even if they stayed awake, I could handle these fools and slip away. I'd anticipated his every move. Because I was the blade of vengeance aimed straight at his heart. Sean Chen finally stopped struggling. At last, a spark of understanding flickered as he gasped out a question. Who the hell are you? You seduced me on purpose, didn't you? My in-laws only returned the next day. By then, I'd called the friends' families to collect them. Sean lay groaning, his body a tapestry of bruises. If they could still laugh at the doorstep, last night's terror hadn't been enough. Their laughter died the instant they saw Sean's purple-mottled skin. His mother's eyes bulged. I spoke calmly. Sean and his drunk friends tried forcing their way into my room. Disgusting. A man like this needs beating, or he'll tear the roof down. She wheezed with rage. His father opened his mouth, then sidestepped when I swung my rod toward his backside. Days passed. At night, I amplified the holograms for my in-laws. One evening, my father-in-law suffered a fright in the bathroom, slipped, and was hospitalized. He became partially paralyzed. While my mother-in-law, in her distraught state, was caring for him, she allegedly saw a ghost again at the hospital. This time, it had nothing to do with me. She wet herself in terror and went completely mad. I later learned it was just Mia Lee wandering the hospital corridors. If they hadn't done evil, why fear ghosts? When I visited them, I leaned close to his ear. Justice is clear. Retribution is certain. The ghost you saw, wasn't she your son's first ex-wife? What was her name? Mia Lee, right? The one your son beat to death. Well, not immediately. She clung to life for 3 years before dying. And in those 3 years, you never stopped harassing her and her family, did you? Didn't you vow her whole family would die wretched deaths? Seems yours is going first. My father-in-law's eyes bulged as he flailed his arms wildly. Who are you? Who are you? I smiled. I'm your son's wife. Don't worry, I won't divorce him. I'll love him just as he loved Mia Lee and Olivia Zhao. Properly. Oh, and rest assured, I won't kill him. Murder's illegal, and death would be too kind. Besides, I'm pregnant. How often I beat Sean Chen depends on how often I think of my sister. I'm Mia Lee's younger sister. Her childhood name was Star. After realizing she'd married a monster, my sister shielded our family meticulously. Fearing Sean Chen's psychotic retaliation, she even sent me, several years her junior, abroad for schooling. She considered ending both their lives together, but lacked the means. Our parents had been frail since their earlier illnesses. After her death, father's hair turned white overnight. He passed the following year, guilt-ridden till his last breath, for failing to rescue her from that hell sooner. During Sean Chen's most deranged phase, my sister fabricated reasons to have my name removed from the household registry and changed. Sean Chen likely forgot. The sister he beat to death still had a younger sibling overseas. Seeing my sister's wounds, the covert recordings of her kneeling and begging for mercy, and the Chen family's threats to our parents felt like death by 1,000 cuts. Yet they kept me safely distant, forbidding my return. Mr. Chen was confined to a nursing home. Mrs. Chen was institutionalized. What did their power matter now? Illness claims everyone eventually. Such is fate. I drove Sean Chen off twice through sheer force. Each time he fled, I'd warn him, stay gone, and your parents' medication stop. Why does he only hit you and no one else? In these 6 months, we've been together. He's never laid a hand on me. Don't ever show your face again to sow discord between us. Though pregnant in my 3rd trimester, years of training meant Sean stood no chance against me, especially with my heavyweight boxing-trained nanny shadowing me. I repaid Sean Chen in kind, giving him the same beatings he'd given his 2 ex-wives. I swear I never meant to kill him. I held back even when hitting him. I intended for him to enjoy lifelong benefits, but he couldn't accept it. During a hospital trip, he tried to kill me by ramming his car into mine. I twisted away and fled with the nanny. His car plunged into the moat before he could brake. Surveillance footage from multiple locations proved my hands were clean. Not long after, I gave birth to a blue-eyed, blonde-haired biracial child. When I brought the baby to Mr. Chen, I told him, look, your Chen family DNA has mutated. Don't worry, he'll grow into a good man. Not like his father who practiced domestic abuse, nor his grandfather who enabled tyranny. Mr. Chen's face contorted with rage, rendered speechless. After one particularly revolting night with Sean, I'd secretly gone abroad for IVF, using premium genetic traits. With the Chun family fortunes largely in my hands, I divided Sean's assets, giving half to Olivia Zhao. She deserved every penny. The horrifying scars from Sean's beatings required expensive reconstructive procedures. Her heart needed reconstruction too. She smiled tenderly at the child in my arms, the first genuine joy I'd ever seen on her face. I brought my mother and Olivia Zhao to visit my sister's grave. Olivia touched her photo with tearful eyes, remaining silent for a long while. She didn't use the money to treat her wounds. Instead, she reopened my old agency that specialized in divorce and separation cases. With her long scar as a stark warning, she cautioned every client who still clung to false hopes after suffering domestic abuse in their marriages. She said she wanted to help more people trapped in toxic relationships like she had been, people who saw no way out. Naturally, I gave her my full support.